Let's get started. Before we get started, Megan, I am so excited about this book.
I haven't started it yet. Liz and I were talking about it though, and she was like, Zach loves that book. He will not stop talking about it.
This is my second time through it, and I love it even more than the first time.
I haven't started it yet, but I have. It's like in my bag. I am ready.
Oh, I think we lost her.
Just by excited Zach.
She overwhelmed her computer.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Keith Cunningham. All the other books, I can't say. I will say this particular book instantly became like one of my top 5. I don't know why, but I love the questions in it. Easily formatted. I enjoyed it.
Yep, I'm excited about it.
Quite an endorsement from Zach.
Julie, since we're talking about agent-to-agent referrals today, change your nameplate so it says Julie Luttrell and then what city you're in. There you go.
Cool. Okay, so who, before we jump into agent-to-agent referrals, is there anyone here doing that already at a pretty high level where this is like one of your top 5 lead sources, the agent-to-agent referral?
It's one of our top 5.
Liz, Hannah, shaking their heads. Yeah, getting the okay. Julian's like, no, not yet. Okay. I can't tell if Julie's laughing because yes, or if she's like, no, I can't.
No, not yet.
Okay. Not yet. Cool. Well, I'm going to then sweetly suggest, since Hannah and Liz are both my clients, I could totally do this. Why don't you guys tell us some of the things that you do in order to have agent-to-agent referrals in your top 5 lead sources?
Okay. For us, we get majority of ours through Kelly. We are the #1 team here in our market center in Little Rock, Arkansas. So I've kept up from going to mega camp, all the trainings, usually even regional things. I try to network and I add them into our Rainmakers database, and they're a part of our 36 touch, and I do hit them quarterly with a postcard. So there's another market center. We're in Little Rock, which is like exact center of Arkansas, and I send a postcard up to Northwest Arkansas, which there's 2 market centers, I think, in a business center up there. So I have a quarterly postcard that goes out to all of our agent partners that have done deals with us or not. So they get that quarterly plus 36 touch. So anyways, that we just service Central Arkansas. It's personalized and have some stats to let them know what the market's doing here. And that's been really well. So just communicate with people. After they send us referrals, we send thank you cards as soon as they send a referral our way, even if we don't even get the appointment. I send a $5 Starbucks gift card with a handwritten note just saying thank you so much, and then keep them updated is key throughout the process so they're not questioning, usually like each week. And then after closing, send them another gift card saying thank you. So usually get more referrals out of that market center after we do a transaction with that one agent, because they will say, hey, I've got somebody moving to Little Rock, who do you know? So it's been pretty successful.
Is your 36 touch unique to, you're putting them on your client 36 touch, or this is a unique 36 touch for agent to agent?
No, I mean, they're in our MET group. So they're getting hit with, client events and all the other things. I don't have them on like neighborhood snapshots or anything like that, but they're getting events and just, seeing what the team is doing.
Yeah. Love it. Very intentional.
Yes.
So most of your agent-to-agent referrals are from your region?
I mean, some of them are, but no, I mean, a lot from like Philadelphia, a lot in California. We've got a good investment market here with a medical school. and a few other things. So, or just good margins to own, investment properties, good return on them. So a bunch of out of state clients, sight unseen, they write offers. Hey, find me this if the numbers work, and we, they close remotely. So no, not necessarily just from our region. They come from all over the state or the U.S.
So also write down Hannah's name if you're looking for a great investment property. You want to know where to go.
Yeah, if you got clients, hey, I just want, a good investment property, call us. We can help for sure.
Not just clients, you. If you guys want a great investment property, sounds like Hannah's got the hookup.
Yeah.
Liz, what are you guys doing to make it a top 5 source?
So there's a few things we've done. One of them is actually at family reunion. My rainmaker and an agent from New York actually put together a mastermind, and invited, agents to come and mastermind with the intention of building the referral network. So we've done some of that. Also,
Say more about that though. Don't just like rush over that, because you guys were super intentional about that even as well. Like, how did you invite people? Where did you go to assemble this group?
I think we started by, actually, I remember I spent a lot of time trying to find where people moved from when they moved to Cleveland.
Remember you
so
doing
we could potentially target those agents in those areas. Now I could just go to command to find that information out, which is really handy. So spending time trying to figure out like where people move from, trying to get agents from all over the country, other maps clients, just trying to, we wanted a diverse group of people because, obviously if we just invited all of our friends, then our friends are all here and they're not going to refer us business because they're going to run it themselves. So, I think we worked to make sure that we got a diverse group, and he had his MAPS coach at the time, Jim Reifus, be the moderator. And so I think Jim was also able to recommend some people, other of his coaching clients who could come in, and then we had a panel of speakers, and so then all the panel could also recommend people. So we really did get people from all over the country. So that was the big thing that we did. And then something else that we've done is we partnered with Cleveland.com, which has, they put out a magazine, they've got a website, and did a couple of videos about investing. And so now when people start Googling investing in Cleveland, oftentimes our videos will come up, and so we'll get some agent referrals that way too. Another thing that we did was my rainmaker has gone down to Columbus, Ohio, which is 2.5 hours away, I think, and done bold there twice, like the actual in-person bold, not virtual bold. And so the last time I guess 2 times ago when he did it, he handed out cards to everyone. We love Columbus to Cleveland referrals. And then the last time we actually had mugs printed up, I think with like bold laws on it or something. And then our team contact information again, so that people would think of us when they've got referrals.
Very creative.
When you hosted that mastermind, what did you guys mastermind about?
It's been a minute.
I don't remember.
I wasn't sure if it was specifically about agent referrals.
I think maybe it may have started off a little bit that way, and then we opened it up to a lot of different topics. And so the other agent who was the co-host, she's an agent in New York City. So it was just really interesting to get her perspective on things too, because New York just does things so, very differently. Like they don't have an MLS. And so I think some of it was just a little bit of, different ways things are done across the country.
Yeah, another thing we've done, back to Liz's point, our Rainmaker and a few of our buyer agents a few years ago did the in-person bold up in Northwest Arkansas and built, you're on teams and they just, she spoke up. She's a high D, so they will speak in front of bolds. And that was huge for getting a lot of referrals in and meeting a lot of people. Another thing, I like to travel quite a bit. So whenever I usually go to a city, a decent bigger size city, I always, make a connection with at least a big top team there, go sit with them for a few hours, or the OP, and just meet some people and go see a few market centers and just kind of create some relationships with other admin, that are in those cities. And I usually start within our group, on Facebook or things, and just, hey, how are you doing this? And let me just shadow for, a few hours, team meetings, or whatnot. It's been very beneficial. Haven't done it since March, but,
What's the other perk of doing that personally?
Personally, I get to see, I love just get to see how people run, like their admins, see, all processes, procedures. And then if I was an agent, I would be able to write that off, for working a little bit. But is that what you meant?
Yeah, you could totally, if you itemize, you don't have to be agent. If you itemize, you could absolutely deduct that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it saved me a few times, like Breckenridge, Colorado, in a mountain town, there's a tiny little market center in there, and I left my computer charger at home. So I called that little market center and talked to them. I was like, can I use a computer? And work there one morning for a few hours, so kind of handy having, a bunch of offices that you can use at any time. So, and we have some visitors too, that come through our office every once in a while. It's kind of fun.
What's great about what Hannah just said too, like if you think about it, how many of you, when your team has a referral to send out but don't know an agent in the area, they give it to you, right? They're like, hey, fine, we have this client, we need a referral in a partner in Colorado. And you're like, okay. Like the admin network is a powerful thing, because if there's a great team through your admin connections, you call the other admin and you say, hey, we've got a referral, right? So just having that admin network can be such a great referral network as well.
Yeah, for sure.
That to me,
I did bring in a transaction that last year via those groups as well.
Yeah, love that.
That to me is the biggest thing right now. As this community grows and you guys start to know each other, like I know my Rainmaker never used to do referrals himself. He always came to me and said, find me somebody here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was always the one finding the referrals. So to me, we are super powerful in our position. And we're building this community for y'all.
Yeah, how cool would it be if we had like a spreadsheet or something, like where there was you just go like, we need that. I'll ask Ina maybe to put that together for us. So it's like all the MAPS clients, their city, their state, and then if you wanted a referral, if your Rainmaker pops in and is like, give me someone for Atlanta, Georgia. You're just like, Jess Garris, great, Colorado.
That would be awesome.
Or add that filter to the command referral map. Search for MAPS clients and admin.
Yeah,
that's true. Can you filter by admin?
I don't
know.
I was going to say, I don't think you can yet.
We have zero stats on our names. Like if I were to go find Liz, it's like 0 stats because our stuff is closed out, under our Rainmaker only. So, but if there was a way to filter like operations or mastery and then click that would be really cool.
We do have this Facebook group though that you could totally post it on.
But then I feel guilty, 20 people will comment, but then I'm like, okay, then I gotta go do some research on, teams and some you know.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
How do we make those connections within command where we as the admin reach out to each other and make those connections through command so that we have each other's contact information, you know, rather than making it harder on ourselves? How do we work together to make that connection easier so that we can connect within command and be able to know where we're from?
You can add other admin to your referral network, like your personal referral network.
That's what I'm saying is we can do that work and be able as the mastery clients to that are doing the director of operations to be able to reach out to one another individually and make that connection on command so that we're easily accessible to each other.
Yeah. I love that. Love this conversation. Not to be the Debbie Downer, but what is the one unintended consequence of high agent referral rate?
Cost of sale.
Cost of sale. Julie got it. Not that this is a reason not to do it.
Julie, I am like celebrating right now.
But yeah, cost of sale. So if this is like a target thing for you, like if you want to make agent-to-agent referrals one of your top lead source zone things for 2021, then you just need to do the math to calculate in how that's going to impact your cost of sale so that you're not like, we're going to target a 30% cost of sale. Well, if you give, 30% away to your agents, but 20% of your business is referrals to agents, you are never going to hit that, like ever, ever, ever. So you just need to be aware of that and factor that into your economic models. That nailed it. So again, it's not a reason not to do it. It's just, it's going to impact your cost of sale. So be cognizant of that and model it out. And if you need help with the math, just ask your coach.
Do any of y'all like target on Facebook, build like ad campaigns outside of your city, like in other states for like target other agents to send referrals to you or anything, or like advertise like your team or a promotion or something, to send referrals for maybe 20% or something? Did any of y'all do that?
No, I've thought about it. However,
Yeah,
I feel like it could be hard to track the ROI.
okay. I haven't done it either. It's been a thought, like, okay, it's on my one day maybe to-do list, so I don't forget about it, but I've always hesitated on pulling the trigger on that one.
What would it look like if you guys put together a unique to agents 36 touch even? So that you had a 36 touch, all of your agent referral partners went on very much like Hannah's, except just a few tweaks, right? So instead of client events, it was like an agent. I've got a client who does this at a really high level. And so the emails in the 36 touch are incredible. It's like a great hook, like it's very storytelling. It's like a great hook on some crazy, scary thing that could happen when you send a referral out to a not good agent that their team handled really well during a referral and how they handled it. And it's always called something like learn from our, whatever. And then it's the crazy thing that happened and how well they handled it. It's like hashtag humble brag. But that's part of their 36 touch right out to so you're always thinking, oh yeah, this team, man, they're really good. Like they handle all kinds of crazy stuff. Like this is going to be the team. They're military, so it's easy because they're, they target obviously other military based towns. But still, it's a unique 36 touch for agents.
Yeah, I would love to see that if you get that permission.
Yeah, I'll post it in our Facebook group if she okays it. What else, guys? What else are you doing, or are you thinking about doing? You're wanting to talk about doing as far as agent-to-agent referrals go?
I know that we we haven't been doing agent referrals a lot, but I can say the one thing that stood out to my rainmaker when it comes to agent referrals is that personal touch. When she received, she had a referring agent who reached out to her and sent her a personal gift at Christmas. She's still, it's been like 5 years. This happened before I even met her. And she still talks about it every time that there's a referral that comes in. So doing something personal for your referring agents makes a huge impact on agents for sure. So
That's so cool. Do you guys know, just to utilize the tools we have, do you guys know what Liz was talking about when she was talking about going to your map in Command and figuring out where referrals come from to your town? Do you guys all, is that like something, we have some no, some yes? Liz, would you be willing to take over the screen and show everybody where that map exists, how to get to it?
Sure. Okay, I have so many tabs open.
No judgment. This is a judgment-free zone.
All right, all right, so the referral tab, you guys, you've seen the referral tab, right? Am I screen sharing the correct?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So you can go to the map. And so then this is where you can like search for referrals. And then you can, and then here under production, you can switch to referral patterns. Oh, great. An error occurred.
While she's reloading this, and we will not squirrel on this topic because we'll bring it up another time, this is also a great place to run Facebook ads in different markets. Because what she'll bring up is show you where referral patterns, where potential migration is happening.
Yeah. So you can search for a city here. So I searched for Cleveland because that's where we're at. So you can actually see this is referrals that are sent from Cleveland. You can also look for stuff that's received to Cleveland, which is probably a little more applicable to this conversation. So you can see like there's actually a lot of referrals that come from California to Cleveland. And so you can figure out where these hubs are. And then one thing I've discovered too with playing around with this is like we have multiple market centers in the area. So for example, we've got a market center in Westlake. So I can check Westlake too. And it's, 15 minutes outside of Cleveland. However, you can see that the referral pattern is actually slightly different. So Tampa could actually also be a good place to target. So just checking, all of the surrounding cities is also helpful when you're playing around with this. So, yeah.
Can you do just show the little carrot, drop down the little carrot, the one?
Yep.
So they could see, you can literally see even more stats here. So if you're like, okay, I think you can go only these 2 levels deep, but where do people come from? So it's a really cool way to kind of stack the odds in your favor.
Yeah,
and
so you can see.
Take a play out of Hannah's book, right? What if you sent that whole market center their postcards once a month, or you grabbed all of their, it's public information. You went to the white pages and you grabbed that market center's email addresses. And you just sent them all an email saying, hey, we see a lot of people move from where you are to where we are. We'd love to be a referral partner.
Yep.
Very cool.
So yeah, fun to play around with. You can view it both ways, what comes in, what goes out. Yeah, and I always find it's like Westlake to Strongsville, like that's just two different market centers in our area. So
As admin, depending on what platform you are, Command has came with its own challenges, and yet the referral section of it has actually been quite reliable and nice. You also can do updates through there. So if you haven't played around with it from an admin and tracking standpoint, it actually does a really good job in that category.
It's like the first thing Kelly and Command ever did was referrals. So they've got that one down. Like that one's pretty solid.
I just said that, so it'll be down for the next 2 days now. And I'll get hate email. And so far, that has not been ever the case with the referrals.
But I mean, have y'all's referrals picked up since Kelly and Command and all that has like agent to agent referrals? I mean, for ours, it's like tripled, you know, due to from Kelly and Command, you know, being updated and all of that rolling out. Has
I think
y'all's?
you might be underestimating a little bit the campaign that you run.
Oh yeah, I follow up. I mean, it's our third source of business.
Yeah.
You know, so we track that.
I'm not sure I'm willing to give all of the credit to Kelly and Command. I think that's.
But it's been a big, you know, since it's all within under the same umbrella, it's been easier to just like, now you don't even have to like copy and paste them into a contact. You just can create them right there. So it's been a lot easier instead of, you know, calling through the front desk or getting an email and tracking that down and then putting it in your database. So it's been a little bit easier.
well, and it's nice too with the like the broadcast feature, because then some agents can claim, like I know we've claimed at least one referral that we might not have otherwise gotten because it came out on a broadcast. So I would say for that though, just make sure that agents have Kelly downloaded on their phone, because I think that's where the notification comes through.
Do you guys know how to climb the ranks? Like if somebody is looking for agents in your area on Command, do you know how it is that people show up at the top?
I mean, I always just filter, you know, under like production or most closed units.
So you can filter, but if you don't filter, the people who show up at the top are the people with the most insights. So if you go around and you like put insights like community park here, or next time you like go to Starbucks on this corner, like however many insights you put in, Command weights that and considers you the real expert the more insights that you have. So without
they got rid of that.
Insights.
I know that was how it used to be. I thought they removed that.
I don't know, guys.
I don't know.
I think that's the natural, like the unfiltered. I think that's still how it is. The unfiltered view is just insights. And of course, you can filter it. Paula, Zach, do y'all know? Is that not a thing anymore?
I do not know if they're still doing that. I'm with Liz. I thought they went a different direction, and I'm 100% uncertain.
Yeah, that sounds about, yeah.
As with anything with Command, I am 100% uncertain.
I love that sentiment. So we have 26 minutes left. What other agent-to-agent referral topics, techniques, tips should we be discussing? Kathy, you're so quiet today. It's like, you're sleepy? What's going on over there?
Well, let me contribute something. We have very few agent-to-agent referrals. I think it's our number 5. It's in the top 5 for us. I think we had 5 last year. So how do we get them? I don't know. Hey, we want to move to Florida. It's really cheap. Can you help us? Sure. We don't track as well as other people do.
What about specialties? So we've talked about like outside of your market, but what about inside your own market? Does anybody have a relationship with other specialists where you cross refer? So for instance, maybe you just don't do mobile homes, but there's a team who does mobile homes and that team doesn't do short sales, but you do. Like, you know, is there some sort of cross referring that you're doing inside your own markets?
Yeah, I feel like you just mentioned both of those. So there is a mobile home park in the city that we kind of farm. That's kind of our base, and we don't do them. So there's one agent who probably does like 85% of them, and so we just send them all to her. And then we've had other agents actually refer short sales to us because we can do them. Also at Cleveland is kind of interesting. There's a very distinct east side, west side divide. And so there's at least one agent or team in our market center who doesn't leave the east side. So we've gotten a piece of business referred from them because it was on the west side.
So even kind of marketing yourself inside your own market center as like a short sale specialist could increase referrals in a situation like that. If you do something that not everybody does.
Yep.
To do.
If you're working with a lot of investors, it also shows up with commercial properties. And sometimes there's a conversation to be had that there's a commercial specialist you work with.
We do commercial, or we refer out commercial to, you know, other commercial agents, and then also short sales. About it.
So then if we're referring a lot out to specialists, maybe the opposite conversation would be like, okay, how do we turn those into like preferred relationships where they reciprocate and send you your specialty? So, you know, 1 to 4 family.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on that?
After masterminds and the vendor conversation of a, you know, the ROI and a two-way street, yeah, changes will be happening starting in January with vendors, and that's looped in there with the commercial and short sale people. The short sale guy, he does a little bit of his own investments in residential properties as well, but
Could you recruit him to your team?
it's in the works. He owns his own small, I guess, firm. I think there's like 5 agents, and yes, we're working on it. It's been a 1.5-year process of lunches and all the things. So it's in the works.
Hannah and Liz, do you keep track of all the agents who refer? Like, do you have like a list you can go to and see exactly who's referred business and how often they've referred it?
No, I was actually just thinking about that as we were talking, that I need to get better about tracking all of our referrals that come in and go out. So
I've got a master like lead sheet. I mean, it's tagged in command, you know, agent referral or KW agent referral. And I've got a master Excel spreadsheet that's leads for each year. And I've got every one of them sourced, who referred them. And I try to go through it monthly. I'm behind, and follow up on every single, you know, referral and lead that's come in. Where's it gone? You know, and then following up, if we do send a referral out to another city, you know, making sure that we actually do get paid on it, and following up, you know, hey, how's the update? How's this going? So, I have a little whiteboard. If we do send a referral out to like Dallas, I keep up with it. You know, I just keep it in front of me so I don't forget about it.
Because we were just talking about, you know, our vendors, like you were saying, Hannah, like if they're not giving us business, do we keep using that vendor or do we find another vendor? well, if we're getting repeat referral business from somebody, then we should know that so that if their city comes up, they're the first person we refer to.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked what you said about us tracking the referrals we send out, because how often do teams send out referrals and then forget about it? And if a check doesn't show up, they don't ever question it.
And is that just like free money for one phone call or one email sent? So yeah.
And sometimes it's not even intentional. Like I've had checks cut and they've just never made it to us. So everyone's thought we were paid and it just got lost somewhere along the way.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody else have a system for that? I mean, it's a lot of manual work, what I do. It's worked. I'm looking for something easier.
I guess all we do is we have a referral tracker that's in Google Sheets. So we have the referring agent, and whether it's inbound or outbound, along with the client's contact information, the agent's contact information, and we just keep that in one location in the referral tracker, and that's how we keep track of it.
Okay.
I will see. I thought Brooke could not make it tonight, and she's a client. She does this at a high level, and she has a GPS that she wrote around it. And I think she has a touch. She does that. A lot of it is calls. The one thing I haven't heard here that I know that she does is she'll do trainings in Market Center for teams like admin and offer that. And then she gets a lot of agent referrals that way because she'll make a networking relationship. So she has been purposeful, and she'll set a goal of doing 2 trainings a month that she'll offer for free in market centers. And then that's how she hits her agent to agent referral goal, because she's essentially just built this database of going through, you know, and offering training, and then she makes a network and then follow up with calls quarterly.
Yeah, and another thing I've done, like if I make a connection, you know, or like somebody asks, hey, can I see your 36 touch? Or if I ask for somebody's, I put them in command and tag them as agent referrals. So any kind of two-way conversation that I have with any admin, I just take that information and put it back in the database. So, and usually try to look up their office address, you know, so when I do send out those quarterly postcards, the address is already in there.
Not that I want to promote working on your vacations either, but if it is something you do and you have like extra half day or whatever, you could totally teach at a market center wherever you go, right? That would be another, to Hannah's point, she's up there anyway, just teach a class.
Yeah, and let's not forget that, and maybe not in all cases, but there is a potential where you can move into benefits not only for the team, but also ourselves or those that work for us in their roles or positions, right? So if you're in one of those where you benefit from that, now we're talking about a Life by Design influencer, right? It could be one of the levers or triggers that you could use and write for your own goal to increase your wealth for the year. And if not, and it's something you would like to investigate, if you have a year of evidence, that's a conversation then you could have. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? But it's a tough conversation to have when we have no evidence, no support, or any backing that it's worked and this is what we've done.
I hope you guys are pumped for our month of referrals. Next week, we're doing during the transaction, right, Paula? Referrals during the transaction?
Actually, that's what I was gonna go to next. I don't know that we decided. Or maybe you guys decided and I wasn't part of it, or?
No, that was just kind of like the original one. We were like,
Oh, you had thrown some ideas out there and Zach and I were both like, yeah, that sounds great.
yeah. which would be, I think it was referrals during the transaction and then followed by personal sphere.
Yep, you're right.
So, you know, big opportunity, I think, for a month of referrals. Like during the transaction, obviously that's a win for the team. Hopefully you see a win for the team is a win for you. But then in our final week before Christmas will be a huge net worth opportunity conversation, right? Referrals from your personal sphere. Because now we're talking about your own income opportunity, to Zach's point just now, right? Like, what's your life by design? What does your life by design say? How many referrals you need in order to hit your income goal? So that is going to be a fun one we're building up to not the last week of the month, but the third week of the month, the last one before we break for the holidays.
Lauren has a really good one that we were talking about recently.
Remind me. The lawyer,
Yeah.
the divorce lawyer. Oh,
Good.
yeah.
She has a divorce attorney in her sphere.
Yeah, not only the attorney, but also the, I don't know if she's the legal assistant or if she's the paralegal or what her role is, but she's been with him a long time, and she's a really good friend of ours. So we're going to use that as like a test case. I'm asking my Rainmaker to kind of pull together what I call a value proposition for how to approach, you know, the lawyer, the divorce attorney. And then we're going to present that and hopefully kind of test it out and see how many referrals we get from that. So that could be very, not only helpful and successful for the team, but it would be very profitable for me if it works out that way. So, and this is something that my Rainmakers wanted to focus on for 2021 anyway. So we're going to use this as the test case, and then we'll find the best practices, and then we'll implement that out through, you know, targeting other divorce attorneys. Thanks for the reminder, Poe.
You guys got anything else? We got 13 minutes left. And if we don't have anything else, we'll give you your 13 minutes back.
I think we could dive in. It may not be a bad idea to throw out there to the group. What ideas do you guys have in January? What would you like some of the topics to be? So we got referrals. We're going to focus on there. We're going to finish out strong with the road less stupid. So we'll have that. What topics would you guys like to see us to dive into next?
And/or books.
Yeah, or books.
I mean, maybe like 36 touch and client events, since we're going to be working from home, and some ideas to plan throughout the year on touches, you know, in person, you know, pop buys or something, because I'm kind of running out a little bit.
Yeah, I was just there with you, Hannah, by the way, just about us for exact same thing, and you just nailed it. Yeah. Marketing plans, planning around the COVID, how that's gonna change, any ideas, brainstorming on that. It would be very helpful, I think, for all of us.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe building two different scenarios or two different type of 36 touches, you know, if the world opens back up and we can do some in-person events, or, you know, if it's not and we're still like we are today, then, you know, what can we do more virtually that works, and, you know, it's not the exact same thing over and over and over.
And I'm hearing it sounds like two different topics, but correct me if I'm off. I'm hearing COVID event ideas, and then I'm hearing touches. That could include some events, like it could include touches and things, but it's not so much the event detail as much as it is the touches around it. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we might be able to fit it, you know, within 1 hour all together. But honestly, I mean, just filling out a 36 touch, you know, 4 big decent events to have throughout the year, you know, touches to our clients. What, you know, just some advice and some brainstorming on that. of what we can do. Because we usually do 4 big events, you know, bingo with about 150 people, and then a baseball game, pumpkin patch, and photos with Santa. Those all but bingo were scratched this year. And we did pie event and a few virtual things. Other than that, it wasn't. So just building that and planning for next year, you know, I guess probably 2 different scenarios. If we do open up, you know, go back to the old one, or, you know, help get ideas for 2021 if we are still somewhat on lockdown.
I think that's a great idea. Great topic.
What else,
What
guys?
else?
What book do we want to dive into for January? Anybody have a book suggestion? Or we moved The Road Less Stupid in January. I don't remember what we were talking about.
We're doing that one in January, but we were going to do, oh, which one were we going to do in January? We had decided.
Miracle Morning.
Miracle Morning, that's right.
Because it's short, so we'll do 2 in January, like December's will be January 7th, but then we'll still do a book the last week of January, but it's super short, y'all, so we could totally do it. I believe in us. The Miracle Morning. It's like this big.
Is that your morning affirmation? I believe in it. I believe in us.
I believe in us. I don't even need that affirmation. It's just like my inner core. I believe in us. So so far we've got 36 touch client events, especially like COVID or socially distanced client events, marketing plans. I heard that one too from Julian. What else? We could, it doesn't have to just be January, you know, like just throw out some stuff that you guys are dying to have small group masterminds around like this.
We can always
Follow-up
revisit
systems.
follow-up systems.
Say more about that.
What is everyone using to keep track of leads that come in and make sure that they're actually getting followed up with, rather than just called once and dumped? And then what system is everyone using for follow-up for like nurturing leads?
Yeah,
So
overall,
maybe a few months out.
yeah, overall tips on quality control, how we're making sure what we are getting back, you know, how we are tracking that, any ideas, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, I love what Lee says. Yeah, this is something even Paul and I, we touched base yesterday on. She just nailed me with a couple of great questions, and I was like, oh, okay, so I'm not the only one who's seeing that. She's like, yeah, I mean, it's like very legitimate questions. Like, how do you know this is done? Like, I don't know, Paul. I'm not sure, you know. So those are things that are really helpful for all of us to kind of start thinking about creating the systems. I mean,
And then so your long term is non-met nurture, right? You're talking about.
Yes, yeah, I'm specifically leads from whatever lead source. So, and making sure that they're actually getting followed up with until contact is made.
Yeah, exactly. There is some sort of follow-up on every single situation we might have. So, yeah, that would be awesome.
What about doing at the end of our 12 weeks, like the end of the first quarter, doing like accountability with our scorecards and, you know, with our like GPSs and having an hour at the end of the third quarter of, or like everything from the 12-week year.
I love it. The question is then, should we have something at the beginning of the 12-week year to set up all of those?
Probably do that with your coach would be, so it would be hard to do it as a group, right? Like
Yeah, that would be hard.
Individual.
But we could talk about at the end, how it worked for everybody. What were the successes? What would they change for the next 12 weeks?
Some all halls. I
Yeah.
think even like accountability, because I mean, I've got accountability, obviously, like with Megan as a coach and my rainmaker, but like, I mean, it's going to be intimidating coming to y'all and saying like, well, I didn't get this done, or I scored myself at this. So if I know here at the end of March, I'm going to make myself like really do it.
No, I love that, Hannah, because even the book's research talks about the peer-to-peer accountability. It's like 70% more likely when your peers hold you accountable. Like your coach and your rainmaker aren't your peers. So that's a really good point.
Any other topics?
What about, I know that my rainmaker and some of the other agents have tried to do accountability partners with agents. What about developing accountability partners within the operations?
I love that.
I do too. How do you guys envision that happening?
I would be in. I mean, would you want to do like a once or every 2 week, like Zoom, and like individually just set that up, or what do you kind of have in mind?
I think that it really depends on who would be in for and looking for an accountability partner. So like we have our coaches, right? And we have this group, but how within the group do we make connections with people that are doing our job, and we can share our GPS with them and hold each other accountable. So it's something outside of what you're required to do, but you find someone that has those same level goals that you do, and you make that connection. So maybe we put something on the Facebook group where, hey, I'm looking for an accountability partner. This is my role, and I want to find someone that is director of ops. I want to find someone that's a TC. I want to find someone that's in marketing, whatever those different roles are. Do a shout out of who you are and what type of accountability partner you're looking for, so that we can make those connections. Find someone that has a similar size team that you work with or something like that. Maybe we use that Facebook group as the forum for making those accountability partner connections.
Absolutely. Yeah, highly recommend that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you could
Julie,
even say what your focus was, Julie. So it's like, I'm a director of operations. This is my focus. I'd like an accountability partner who has a similar focus.
Definitely.
Being newer to the group, we won't dive into the story, but that's exactly how Megan and I were introduced to each other. It was accountability and meeting. And it's awkward for all of us operations folks out there, just to let you know, and really moves you forward quickly.
And really create some great relationships.
Yeah.
I would say some of my closest operations relationships I have are because of that type of scenario. Okay, so when Julie goes and posts this on Facebook, are you guys all going to support her?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like head nods.
Bring it.
Okay, we have 1 minute left and we have enough topics to get us through January, right, Megan?
Oh yeah, more than enough for January. I think like this is
Okay.
probably like the first quarter.
Okay, perfect. But we'll put them together in order. Let everybody know what we're doing when. So next week will be referrals during the transaction. All right.
Yes, referrals during the transaction. gonna be so fun. Month of referrals. Woo! So see you guys next week and start your book. Zach can't wait to discuss it with us. So let's read it.
And I agree with Zach. It's probably one of my absolute favorites.
Such high praise.
I'm a big fan of books where you don't have to read the whole thing and you can just pick chapters that you need to learn. This is one of those books.
So you're going to tell us which chapters we have to read?
All of them.
But it is a good reference book because you can go back later and you can reference very easily the chapter that's pertinent to your situation in the moment.
All right, I'm having a family emergency. I'm gonna have to hop off, but I will see you guys next week.
All
See
right.
everyone.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.